When we first start off gardening, we tend to start off with 5 or 10 packets of seeds that are really easy to keep track of. So we either have them in a mason jar, a shoebox, a drawer, and we know exactly what we have. But inevitably, over time, we do tend to collect lots of seeds. And this is what that same drawer or basket might look like. So when you get to the point where you can't find your seeds, you know it's time to start organizing them properly. Now, the problem with not being organized is that your gardening schedule can fall to bits, and also you can't find seeds, and so you don't get them in the ground. And it could be that you lose packets of seeds, and by the time you find them again, they are past their best sowing date. They might actually not even germinate at all. So you'd be wasting seeds if you're not keeping organized. So in this video, I'm going to show you the way that I've kept my seeds organized up until now, and also a new way that I'm trying out this year. You've seen this box before in a previous video, and this is the way that I've organized my seeds up until now. And as you can guess, they are organized by sowing month. So in February, I have some peppers and some Brussels sprouts. March, things like kale. April, very busy month, as you can see. And then May onwards. And then what happens is that if there's a packet of seeds that can go further on into the year, so I could sow it in February and March, I would take that seed packet out and then just move it back. And then this way I know what I can sow when. The challenges to this organization method is that you can't find a particular packet of seeds when you need them. So if you're, say, looking for these peas, I wouldn't know exactly where they are at a given time per se, or say it was all year round lettuce. I wouldn't know exactly where it was unless I was very diligent with moving it around. The other downside with this is that I sometimes get these kind of seed packets, and they are all season collections. And that means that I can sow each one of these at a different time of the year. So I either have to divide all of the individual seed packets up, and then in that way I lose all that information on the back there, or I just have to kind of wing it. If you're going to use this method, you have to be very organized, because what ends up happening for myself is that I use a packet of seeds, sow them, and then they make their way into this little basket, and I don't actually end up putting them back in their folders. It's just in the moment in gardening, it's busy, especially at certain periods. And keeping on top of organization like this can be tough. And that is the reason why I'm trying out a new method. This is the system that I'm going to be trying out. And these are plastic takeaway containers. I had them on hand already. They're airtight, they're clean, they have quite a lot of depth in them. And what I've done is I've used a Sharpie to write the different types of seeds that are going into them. And you can customize this as well. So for example, I have legumes, and that would be peas and beans, but you might have a lot of beans and a lot of peas. So you could actually have 2 different containers for those. It just depends on what you like to grow. Another positive thing about these is that they have a lot of depth. I've seen quite a few gardeners using photo boxes for seed storage, but I'm thinking about like peas and beans again. They are quite big seeds. They take up a lot of room, and I think it would be difficult, at least for myself, to cram them all into a smaller container. So I have actually a shelf in my office. It's north facing, so out of direct sunlight, stays at a constant temperature, and that is where I'm going to be keeping my seeds from now on. I've written the type of seed on these boxes twice. So once on the top and once on the side. And that is just for convenience. If I'm stacking them like this, then I can see immediately what types of seeds they are. But if I see them like this, obviously it's the same. So it's just efficiently categorizing seeds and being able to easily see what I have. Now comes the fun of organizing all of my seeds into the boxes. One thing that I'll be doing as I organize my seeds is checking out the sow by date. So September 2021, that is pretty good. So that will go into the peppers box. Now this Brussels sprouts here, I've accidentally ripped off the sow by date, but I'll tell you what, I did actually sow these this year and it was very poor germination. So I'm going to set this aside and keep that as a reminder to get some more Brussels sprout seeds. That was a great exercise just in going through the seeds, because I realized that I'm nearly out of purple sprouting broccoli, which I love and grow every year. My dwarf sunflowers, I used the last of those seeds this year, so I'll need to pick up some more of the toy shop sunflowers over the winter. Sun Gold tomato, absolutely loved it this year, so that will definitely be going back in the greenhouse, and a few other seeds as well. You might also be wondering about my storage on a shelf, and you might have heard that it's better to store seeds in a refrigerator. You can store seeds in the refrigerator or a freezer, but they have to be very, very dry, and it's not necessary if you're just planning on storing seeds for a couple of years. If you're thinking about long-term storage, or if you have carrots or parsnips or leeks, they'll do much better if they're refrigerated, so they'll be viable and will germinate a lot easier if you keep them that way. But for most seeds, just keeping them in a cool room, so that's out of direct sunlight and no moisture at all, is perfectly fine. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know how you're storing your seeds and anything that you've picked up along the way as far as tips and tricks. And I'll see you next week for another video here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now.